lights, please. Excuse me, I need you to settle down and turn and pay attention. Now, we have only a very short time to go through this, but the good news is that it's a very, very short type of lesson. That's what happens when you get a 2-hour delay. So, are you serious? Great, what a day to do this. This only happens when it gets disconnected, and I didn't think it got disconnected. Okay. Ready? When tables are used to model functions, what kind of functions are these? Take a look at this one. This relates to the third question on the quiz. Do you notice anything about the change here? Yes, what is it? It's constant. Whenever that change is constant, what kind of function is it? Linear, very good. So this is definitely a linear function. Now, let's take a look at the next one. What do you notice about it? It is quadratic. And this is the biggest hint that it's quadratic here, that you come to a maximum point, and then what would the next number down here be? 24. Good. Okay, so this one is going to be a quadratic. Linear has a constant difference. The quadratic has that curve, that symmetry on both sides. What do you notice about the next one? It's definitely exponential because this is going up by a common ratio of 3. 3 times bigger, 3 times bigger, 3 times bigger, and so on and so forth. Okay? Any questions? All right, it's extremely important that you be able to recognize those when you see them. Okay, so here's the bottom line. Someone's going to go, 2 people are going to go from New York City to Boston. And in going from New York, ladies and gentlemen, to Boston, what happens is one of them takes the train and one of them takes the car. Again, you can tell by the font, this is directly out of the lessons the state suggested we give you guys. And this question, I believe, is a little bit confusing. So here is the table, and there's Noam and there's Athena. And if you notice, this is, be careful about here, this is the distance from New York City on this table. This is not just the amount of distance you've covered. Okay? So he starts at time 0. Noam is 0 miles from New York City. Then he's 55, 110, 165, 220, 165, 110, 55, 0. Okay? Over here, Athena goes 0, 81, 144, 189, 216, 225, 216, 189, and so on and so forth. Who do you think's driving? Who do you think is taking the train?
Athena's driving.
Now, why is Athena driving?
Because it took longer.
Because it took longer. Okay. You ever drive to Boston?
Yeah.
You ever hit traffic?
Yeah.
I don't know which one's which. I mean, on the one hand, I want to say that Noam is driving because what's the usual speed limit? 55. What's this going up by? 55. But then again, if they knew anything about I-95, as soon as you get in Connecticut, it turns into 65. It's not 55. So I don't know what the right answer is. I really don't. Some people will say, well, if you're driving at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can hit cruise control and carry the same speed all the way through. When do you drive in the middle of the day and go the same speed from here to Boston? Isn't there part of it where you're going fast and part of it where you have to slow down for traffic? So then you might say, well, this one slows down for traffic. But then what about taking a train? Isn't it true that when you're going through country, you keep the same speed up, but what happens when you get close to a metropolitan area? You have multiple stops. So the multiple stops could account for the least distance. So I really don't know what the right answer is, and wasn't it nice for the state to give us this? I guess that this one's driving in a car because of the 55. But if you argued against that, as far as I'm concerned, you could win. All right? And this one to me is the train because the train, when it gets closer to the town, is going to slow down for more stops. But then again, the car should also slow down when it gets to the metropolitan area because traffic becomes more dense. So I really don't know what to do. It's moving. What? Anyway.
Oh no.
Oh, the wheel of death. Okay. According to the data, how far apart are Boston and New York City?
A couple miles.
How far apart are New York and Boston according to the
10
table?
hours away.
Miles.
200.
Alex.
220.
220, 225, right? Because one is 220, one is 225. All right, so all you have to do is read up on this stuff and go with it. It is not difficult, and thank you for freezing computer.